That's really interesting because Democrats took issue with the way President Biden described the situation. He used the term illegal. He did walk that back a few days later in an interview, saying he wished he used the term undocumented. Do you, what do you make of that flip flop?
He should not be having this debate. That in the end, as president, it's the policies that matter, not the words that are used to describe the policies. That said, those words determine the elections. Those words determine how Americans feel towards those policies. And right now, Joe Biden is losing the immigration issue by double digits. And even people who voted for him are upset with him about what he said and what he's done. Make no mistake, immigration is the weakest issue. Immigration and inflation are the two weakest issues for the Democrats, and they are going to determine whether or not they are the majority party or the minority party.
And those are the two most important issues facing the country, according to polling. But more voters think Trump would handle immigration better than Biden. So do you think that Republicans are winning on the messaging here?
This is the one area where Republicans are winning on messaging, they're winning on policy, and they're winning on politics, all three of them. And they're doing so not as much for Donald Trump's success, but for Joe Biden's utter failure. And that I don't think that he really understands how the public isn't anti-immigrant, but they are anti-chaos. They are anti-illegality. And they just want a system that works and works well. And they don't see that it's coming from Biden. They don't believe that his policies over the last 3 years have made them feel any safer, any more secure, or done a good job at the border. And so they look at the way things were in 2020 and they give Trump credit. And remember, people were very critical back then. They give Trump credit for relative stability, relative security, and they blame Joe Biden for taking a difficult situation and making it much, much worse.
President Biden and Democrats alike have criticized Republicans for a bipartisan border bill ultimately failing, ultimately Republicans not supporting it. Do you think that's the right messaging here? Do voters care about that, or do they care more about solutions?
You're correct in that question. They care more about solutions. The Democrats do not understand that the American people have had enough of this. The level of frustration across the political spectrum is significant. It's meaningful. And it's one of the reasons why Biden has slipped behind Trump. The Republicans don't understand that they're going to their advantage if they're seen as playing politics. How can you support a piece of legislation for months, demanding it, and then when it's offered to you, refuse to vote on it? I think both parties, but I do believe that the Republican Party is in a stronger position, but it weakens them when they're seen as playing politics. And it's very frustrating to the public who desperately wants people to prioritize security over the outcome of the 2024 election.
I was talking to an immigration expert earlier today, and he said he didn't see any comprehensive legislation when it comes to immigration, when it comes to border security, passing before the election. Do you see Democrats at all notching a win on this before November?
I believe that neither party wants to give the other party a win, and that both parties are going to accept the status quo, which is a huge mistake for the average American. This proves the point that people are putting politics over policy. They are putting policy over people. And it's the reason why Congress has such a low approval rate. The reason why Joe Biden has such a low favorability rate. And the reason why Donald Trump, even though he's upside down, more people dislike him than like him, he's doing as well as he's doing because the public looks at the way things were when he was president and believed that the border was safer and more secure. And that really matters to